CBS 42 Signing Day Special, presented by Pepsi.
What else would you expect on National Signing Day, everybody? Emotions running rampant everywhere, especially for Eli Drinkwitz at Missouri. Why is he so happy? Well, he just stole a recruit from the Alabama Crimson Tide. The 2020 class, all set in stone, and now it's time to check out the goods. CBS 42 was everywhere today in the Birmingham area for all the big-time signings. Pac-12, SEC, Big Ten, ACC, you name it. And we're going to bring it all to you in the next 30 minutes. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Chris Brees. Here they are, hot off the presses, the 24/7 National Top 5. You see all the usual suspects here. And at number 2, the Alabama Crimson Tide with number 1. 2 times in 3 seasons, Georgia gets the number 1 overall class. How about the overall number 7 class, the Auburn Tigers? That is where we begin tonight. With breaking news down on the plains, Boobie Whitlow, who led the team in rushing the past 2 seasons, will reportedly enter the transfer portal. Last year as a redshirt sophomore, Whitlow ran for 787 yards, 16 total touchdowns during his 2 seasons. There is good news, though, for Auburn today. They are stacked at the running back spot, especially with the addition of this guy, 4-star and the number 4 overall running back in the country, Tank Bigsby. Gonna love to say that name. Malzahn's prize signee already on campus and expected to make an immediate impact in the spring. Well, 2 things you don't expect to hear together on signing day: Alabama recruits and the Oregon Ducks. But that was the theme today for our biggest remaining unsigned local player. Career defensive lineman Jason Jones has been committed to Alabama for a long time. Not anymore. We all knew something was up, and it turns out he is the first domino to go to the Oregon Ducks. And Mr. Jones had plenty of reasons to go to Eugene.
You know, it came clear to me close to the signing day where I should go. You know, I had a talk with God, a one-on-one face-off with him, and that was the right decision for me. The facilities are great. I feel like I thrive in that program, and they actually know how to treat their recruitees and players.
I'll tell you what, Oregon head coach Mario Cristobal sure does know how to recruit in the state of Alabama. Hoover star quarterback Robbie Ashford heading to the Great Northwest. Ashford was originally committed to Ole Miss, but decommitted when Matt Luke was fired and Lane Kiffin was hired. And Ashford was sold on the Ducks after taking his trip to Eugene.
The environment is really different out there from Alabama. The facilities for sure, I mean, that's Nike heaven. But I would say really just the family environment. I mean, you come in there, you just feel like family.
Now, Ashford and his Hoover teammates did not win the 7A state title. Sawyer Pate and the Thompson Warriors did. And ever since then, people have been clamoring, when is this kid going to get a scholarship? Well, today he gets the next best thing. He is signed with Auburn as a preferred walk-on at quarterback.
It felt at home. I've been a long-time Auburn fan, and I grew up going to the games. And it just felt at home when I got there on the visit. And Coach Morris and Coach Malzahn, they brought me in and made me feel like their own son.
Well, Pate was not even the greatest moment at Thompson this morning. Wide receiver Mike Petway going to a Power 5 school himself, but it was his daughter stealing the show. We have that story coming up. All right, year after year, it's almost always the same story for Alabama. Nick Saban knows how to get the local guys in Alabama. 2020, for the most part, has been no different. Just check out his haul during the early signing period alone. Hueytown running back Roydell Williams, Jackson Olin linebacker Q Robinson, and Hewitt Trussville defensive back Malachi Moore. All 3 expected to make a serious impact immediately, maybe. And just like most teams, Bama did their heavy lifting during that early signing period in December. 22 recruits signed. 13 of them are already on campus enrolled. The class included a whopping 4 5-stars. Get used to that, we have been, and 15 4-stars. So it seems like the Tide are set with yet another great class. Simone Eli in Tuscaloosa, where Nick Saban just addressed everything. And Simone, he's always kind of wishy-washy with this kind of stuff. How was he today?
Yeah, Brees, he was pretty satisfied today is what I would say. I mean, there was a situation kind of early on in the press conference where you could tell he voiced his displeasure once again with the early signing period and how it's changed the realm of college football. Like you said a minute ago, Alabama did most of their heavy lifting during the early period, 22 of their 25 guys in this 2020 class. And here's a look at how things stacked up for Alabama. A handful of 5 stars, 18 players from the ESPN 300, and some offensive guys to look out for. Bryce Young, that dual threat quarterback, all world, all everything. And then Roydell Williams, the running back from Hueytown. We've seen him do great things here in town. Of course, a couple of guys on defense going to be big names as well. Now, earlier on Feinbaum, before the Saban press conference, I heard Lane Kiffin talking about Saban and his recruiting style, how he likes to call over text, and he isn't big on social media. So, of course, I had to ask Coach about this.
Well, look, there's obviously a generation gap between the two of us. I mean, but the way I grew up communicating was talking. You know, when I pumped gas in my dad's service station, I went to the window and I'd say, "May I help you, please?" I didn't text them and ask them. I kind of feel sorry for people that I see walking around looking at their phone, running into the wall, not even knowing, you know, somebody's getting shot across the street and they don't even know it because they can't take their eyes off their phone. I'm in the other camp, you know, I feel sorry for people like that.
Coach Saban said today that he did a lot of talking when it comes to the 2021 class. He spoke to 22 players on the phone. He said he started stuttering that he was talking so much. As for Saban on social media someday, don't hold your breath, guys. It's not going to happen. Brees.
Simone, I want to know where Gus Malzahn would sit in the generation gap that Nick Saban talks about, because he had a lot of early signees too. They just filled out a few spots as well today. They got 23 guys, including 14 4-stars. During the early signing period, another top 10 class for Gus in 2020. But we all know they need playmakers, and they need them big time. And in comes Drew Carter to talk more about these guys who can get the ball, because they got to score points like they did in the Iron Bowl this year.
Yeah, that's right. And Bo Nix needs as many weapons as possible, especially with Chad Morris taking over the offense for Auburn. And luckily for the Tigers, they got one of those guys, and he's from right around here in Birmingham. J.J. Evans, a product of Montevallo High School, a 4-star wide receiver and the highest-ranked wideout in his class from this area. Now, he knows there's going to be a lot of competition at a powerhouse like Auburn, so he might not play right away. But his connection with his new quarterback might help him make a difference early.
That's great. I've knew Bo for a while, so me and him have a great connection, and I talk to him every now and then, so I just can't wait to get there and actually play with him.
Now, Evans, one of 26 commits in total who is now signed with the Tigers, which is tied for the most in the SEC. And even though Auburn didn't reel in a 5-star this year, you could argue that this class is as good as any Gus Malzahn has brought in since he took over in 2013. Auburn cracked the top 10 of 24/7's class rankings for the first time in 4 years. And the coach says this group's combination of character, talent, and maturity makes it a special class.
I really believe this is one of the best classes that we've had since I've been here. We needed some guys that could come in and help immediately. We did that with some junior college players, but at the same time, we feel like the majority of these freshmen can come in here and help us immediately.
And coming up next, Rivals insider Andrew Bone joins Chris with an inside look at both the Tide and the Tigers recruiting classes and what it means for the immediate future that's coming up next.
The CBS 42 Storm Team is declaring today a weather-aware day. We're tracking the possibility of severe storms, including damaging winds and flooding rain. Stay with us on air, online, and on the CBS 42 weather app for the latest updates. The CBS 42 Storm Team, accurate weather coverage you can count on.
For many years, it has been my great honor to represent the people of Alabama in claims for Social Security disability benefits. If an initial claim is denied, it has recently become necessary to file a request for reconsideration before you can request a hearing in front of an administrative law judge. Our law firm is familiar with all these steps, and we would be glad to represent you. Remember, if you are disabled and unable to work, then don't give up. If you need help, call us.
When looking for a TV and internet provider, we know you have a choice. This is Claire. She has AT&T DirecTV. I get tons of HD. Spectrum has tons of HD. On demand and the sports channels are included. Well, DirecTV Select doesn't include the sports channels. And we get exclusive access to original content with Spectrum Originals.
Oh, I don't get that.
Get Spectrum TV from $44.99 a month. Call 833-955-4499.
Spectrum Internet starts at 200 megabits with no data caps.
My starting speed is only 50 megabits.
Spectrum is 4 times faster.
Spectrum Internet, $44.99 a month.
I'd switch, but I'm in one contract for TV, second one for internet. It could cost hundreds to cancel.
Spectrum has no contracts, and they'll help buy out yours.
I'm switching to Spectrum.
Get Spectrum TV and internet from $44.99 a month each. Call 833-955-4499.
This is protection in a world of distraction. This is value you can't ignore. Get 0% financing for 60 months and save $1,000 on the 2020 Rogue.
You see us each Sunday night on The Attorneys. Hollis Wright is standing by right now to consider your accident and personal injury case. Call us for a free consultation.
This is Easter Seals. This is Easter Seals. You'll find Easter Seals here, and even here. Because Easter Seals is a lot more than you think, providing more services than you might expect, and touching more lives than you may realize. Serving the community. It's what we do every day and have for over 100 years. Easter Seals. All abilities, limitless possibilities.
Art Franklin and Alyssa Rotherman, weekday mornings on the CBS 42 Morning News. You're watching the CBS 42 Signing Day Special, presented by Pepsi.
One thing is for sure on signing day, December is becoming the time to do it for these kids out of high school. We're 3 years into signing, and now, I don't want to say February is obsolete, but it's almost getting there. And for more on that perspective, Andrew Bone from Rivals.com, so glad to have you with us today. Where do you see this thing going in the next couple of years? You look at your guys' list, and I think every top 100 guy is already signed in December. What is that going to look like in the future?
Well, you never know, because a couple of years ago, it was like only a few guys would sign, and then last year, half the guys signed. Now it's like 90% of the guys go ahead and sign during that early signing period, and we could see this, really becoming a thing where it's only in December. You just never know where it may go, but I would not be surprised if we see that happening anytime, sometime soon.
So let's talk about all the big names people should be excited about. Starting with Alabama, we have to start with Bryce Young.
Yeah.
Tell me this. When you're looking at making him number 1 or number 2, you guys have him number 2. I know 24/7 has him number 1. What's the difference? What's the point of changing all that? I know they want to hype it up a lot,
right,
but why make the change so late? I'm sure people are curious about those numbers.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really that much difference between the number 1 guy and the number 2 guy. And kind of like looking at the NFL draft, a mock draft, and who's going to be the number 1 guy selected, who's going to be the number 2 guy. These guys are still awesome. They're going to be great. And, with Bryce Young, I don't think there's any doubt that he was the number 1 player or number 1 quarterback, at least in the country. And that's where he's ranked by every site. And he's such a special talent. He's already in Tuscaloosa, already going to be one of those guys who's going to go through winter workouts and spring training, and definitely going to challenge the other quarterbacks that are on campus for potentially a starting role.
Now, I know it's hard for you to be on the spot and saying this is a player who's going to be really good in 2 years. Can you give me 1 or 2 other names that should be on the lookout for who could be a superstar in 2 years for Bama?
Well, I'd really watch out for William Anderson. He's a 5-star defensive end, had, I think, 40 sacks in the last 2 seasons of his high school career, already on campus, going through, like I said, spring training and winter workouts with the Crimson Tide, just like Bryce Young. Another big-time player I'd watch out for is Timothy Smith. Big-time defensive lineman, 6'4", about 320 pounds, moves extremely well, had a lot of sacks this past season. I think he was over double-digit sacks as a senior. He's going to be a big-time force in the SEC.
Alabama has 13 players already on campus. Auburn has 10. Give me a couple of names their fans should really be excited about.
Well, I think with Auburn, you look at some of the guys that are coming in from junior college. Dre Butler, who's not there yet, but he just committed to them about a week ago. He signed on Wednesday, and he's going to be a big-time player for them. I mean, Auburn's done a tremendous job developing defensive linemen. You bring in the #1 junior college player in the country who's also a defensive lineman, 6'5", 285 pounds. Kevin Steele is going to have a lot of fun with this guy.
I've got to get your opinion on what's happening with Dabo Swinney and Clemson. You look at all these years of rankings, they haven't even sniffed the top 5,
right,
even before this year. Now, all of a sudden, they're a top 1, 2, 3 class. Would you call Clemson a sleeping giant now that they're finally a team who's getting recruits when they even weren't doing it before and still winning national titles?
What we're seeing now from Clemson is their ability to go all over the country to recruit. You know, they were recruiting really well in the Southeast, and now they're able to go to California. They're able to go to Virginia, Maryland. They're still recruiting extremely well in South Florida, and I definitely think that you look at their class this year, their class last year, and even their class in 2021. They just recently picked up a commitment in 2021 from Corey Foreman, the #1 player in the country for next year out of California. They're gonna be just fine.
He's Andrew Bone from Rivals.com. Thanks so much for taking the time with us today, and probably see you again next year in 2021. We'll be right back.
You'll have the greatest health care ever. Those pre-existing conditions are You'll be spending a lot less money for much, much better health care.
As mayor, Mike Bloomberg helped expand coverage for 700,000 more New Yorkers. As president, everyone will have access to affordable care. He'll cap health care costs and ban surprise medical bills. Real plans, not empty promises.
I'm Mike Bloomberg, and I approve this message.
Don't you just love trees? They're home to lots of plants and animals. These trees here are called longleaf pines, and Alabama Power is working hard to help them grow. They work with partners across the state to help protect our wildlife habitats, rivers, shorelines, and endangered species. Preserving our environment is just one more way. They're helping make these trees and Alabama a nice place to call home.
If your credit card debt is out of control, if you're in over your head in monthly payments, there's a secret the credit card companies don't want you to know. If you have more than $10,000 in credit card debt, you have the right to let us settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. That's bad news for the credit card companies, but it's great news for you. We're Credit Associates, and we're offering you free information on how to virtually eliminate your credit card debt with a monthly payment you can afford. To see how much you could save, call now. 1-800-922-4941. Don't declare bankruptcy. Don't consolidate. Give us 10 minutes and we could save you thousands. After all, we depend on your success and offer a guarantee so there's no risk. Credit Associates. Live better, debt-free. Find out how easy it is by calling now. For the secret the credit card companies don't want you to know, call Credit Associates now and see how much money you could save for free. Call 1-800-922-4941.
The CBS 42 News, weeknights at 5, 6, and 10. You're watching the CBS 42 Signing Day Special, presented by Pepsi.
signature moments are a staple of signing day pastime, and C.J. Payman from Pike Road down in Montgomery had one of the best we can remember. That little Simba-looking guy is a Bulldog, right? So that means C.J. is coming here to Homewood to be a Sanford Bulldog. And a very unique class for Sanford, a unique signing day at Gardendale this morning. Bailey Parsons is going to Stanford next year in Palo Alto, California. And he's a smart guy for many reasons, though. What's the best way to get a scholarship? You become a long snapper. So Bailey said, why not?
I was just kind of looking for a way to get on the field. And my cousin had taught me how to long snap at Thanksgiving the year before. So I was like, this might be cool, easy way to get some playing time. And then I just kind of started developing it, and I was like, I'm not too bad at this.
Too bad at all, and it took him about 30 seconds, he said, before he decided he had to commit to Stanford. It was that big of a move and that good of a move. Let's go back to Simone Eli there in Tuscaloosa with Alabama's signing class. Simone, I understand that Nick Saban gave you guys a particular lesson today, the media?
Yeah, Brees, he did. Alabama, 25 guys make up their 2020 class. Nick Saban's excited that half of those guys are already here on campus, but it was still a relatively busy day for Nick Saban and company. They only signed 3 guys today. 22 had already put their signatures here on paper for the Tide. A handful of 5 stars, 18 players from the ESPN 300. But back to that lesson, Brees. Nick Saban was asked what today was like since he wasn't very busy. It was an expected day, right?
Do you guys take math? Do you have math class?
Not anymore.
Did you learn how to add when you did have math class? Like 22 and 3 make 25? I mean, we only could sign 3 guys. That's what we expected based on math. But it was a very busy day, because the calendar is moved up.
Once again, Nick Saban taking a little bit of a shot at the early signing period because he has to already start recruiting for the 2021 class. So are you in math class over there, Drew?
Thankfully, not anymore, Simone. But here's some math about Auburn. Over the past 5 seasons, their starting tight ends have caught 9 total passes. Now, even though that position has not been productive, Gus Malzahn brought in 2 4-star tight ends this cycle, Brandon Frazier and J.J. Pegas.
A lot of our fan base say, when are we going to throw the tight end? Well, it's here. So the frustration of the not throwing the tight end enough, I think we got 2 guys that can really help change it, and the guys we got. And then really, if you look at what Coach Morris did the last 2 years, I think they targeted the tight end either the most or second most in all of college football.
Well, last year when Morris was at Arkansas, his starting tight end was Cheyenne O'Grady, who caught almost 5 passes per game last year. And when Morris was at Clemson, he coached 2 future NFL tight ends. Could be an added wrinkle to the Tigers offense in the future. Other signings including Mike Petway at Thompson. Why his commitment wasn't the best part of his day. You've got to see this video when we come back.
Evening News. It's local coverage you
can count on.
Weekdays at 5, 6, and 10.
If you're new to Medicare, because you're turning 65 or recently retired, you can still get affordable and complete coverage with the Cigna Medicare Advantage plan and get treated like more than just a number, because Cigna treats you like a whole person, body and mind. Get more coverage for less. Call 1-866-611-9674. With Cigna, you get medical, dental, vision, and prescriptions in one plan. A team of doctors for your overall health and healthy living programs to save you money. Plus, no monthly premium and no specialist copay. If you're new to Medicare, you can still get affordable coverage for the whole you from Cigna, no matter your health status. Don't wait. Call now to get your free Medicare Advantage guide. Call 1-866-611-9674. That's 1-866-611-9674. Or visit GetCignaMedicare.com. Cigna. Together all the way.
Celebrate President's Day at Beds Express. Get this Sealy Posturepedic King mattress for the price of a queen. Only $699. Save $800. Save up to $400 on these Sealy and Beautyrest Queen mattresses. And now with select sets, receive a wireless head and foot adjustable base absolutely free. You'll rest easy at Beds Express with our 1-year price guarantee, 2-year extended warranty, and 3-year comfort guarantee.
Beds Express makes it easy.
This is protection in a world of distraction. This is value you can't ignore. Get 0% financing for 60 months and save $1,000 on the 2020 Rogue.
You're a person, not a credit score. But sometimes your score gets in the way of the things you want to do. Personal consumer loans through NetCredit help you borrow up to $10,000. And you can check if you're eligible on netcredit.com without affecting your credit score. You may even be able to build your credit history as you repay. NetCredit, a more personal loan. Visit netcredit.com today.
Sherry Jackson and Jack Royer, weeknights at 5, 6, and 10. You're watching the CBS 42 Signing Day Special, presented by Pepsi.
All right, I want to give out the award for cutest moment at signing day. Thompson wide receiver Mike Petway is going to Washington State next year. That's great. But his daughter Adeline was even better. Mike brought her to his signing day, and Adeline made her television debut.
It was really special to me, you know. One day she'll probably be able to look back and be like, oh, wow, my dad had me on. He had me at his signing day, so it's really special to me.
Well, it doesn't matter what sport. The Hoover Bucks are always known for gifted athletes, and today we saw that big time. 34 athletes signing in 8 different sports, 11 of them for football, 5 more for softball, girls soccer, and baseball. But not to be outdone, crosstown rivals Spain Park had 14 kids sign in 8 different sports, including Sarah Ashley Barker, Jay Barker's daughter, playing basketball at Georgia. Other signings include Jacksonville State, Sanford, and UAB. And finally, to cap off all the madness today, shout out to Vestavia Hills. Quarterback Eli Sawyer going to southeastern Louisiana. And how about the preferred walk-ons? Bennett Weisenhunt to Alabama, Jake Levant to Auburn, and Will Brooks to Tennessee. Hey, we had so many signings. If you didn't see them on any of our broadcasts, go to cbs42.com/sports. You'll see all the signings from today. And with that, signing day is over, which means we have about 1 month. That's it till spring practice begins. Auburn's A-Day will be Saturday, April 11th, which means their first spring practice somewhere around March 9th. Alabama, we don't know yet. Nick Saban will tell us when he tells us. We'll see you next time, everybody, here on CBS 42 Sports. For Simone Eli and Drew Carter, I'm Chris Burris.